I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another night of live iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. My name is Chris Graham, being joined in the booth tonight by Mr. Patrick Byrne, James Watson, likely to be stopping in with us here. We'll see what's coming up here shortly with Mr. Watson. But I'll tell you what, Patrick, another good night of racing coming up here for the Sim Racers Club. It's a kind of a common theme here. Maybe a little bit smaller on the car count, but the racing action is always pretty good.
Yeah, throughout practice, we saw all of these guys are about half a second apart from each other, which at a short track like this is really, really tight. And just the fact that we're here at North Wilkesboro is going to put on an amazing show. This track always puts on great racing. Yes,
it does. Absolutely love North Wilkesboro Speedway. You all know the storylines. Racetrack runs downhill on the front straightaway, uphill on the backstretch. Really makes this place drive differently, and in fact to the point that they had to come up with a unique custom setup for this race because the iRacing default setup very, very loose. Oh man, big overcook there as Johnny Avila finishes up his run. We'll pick up the Arch Telecom number 11 of Tyler Seville here as he works lap number 2. This place is really tough because just by nature of how the track lays out, it wants to be loose into 1 and it wants to be tight into 3.
Yeah, this track is really unique because it's built on the side of a hill. So going down, I believe, the front stretch, you're going downhill and the back stretch is uphill. Do I have that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, so it really, really makes setting up a car here tricky. It almost multiplies the banking through 1 and 2 and decreases it in 3 and 4.
Yeah, this place is always tough to get around. Quite frankly, it's why it was a favorite on the Cup Series schedule forever until it went away in the 1995 season. $30 million in reinvestment coming to North Wilkesboro Speedway. Very, very exciting news for fans of the sport. Looking back 1 week ago to the race at Pocono Raceway, Johnny Avila getting the win by 17 seconds over Tyler Seville. Mike Mcconville in his first start in the series finished 3rd. See what he can do here in qualifications. Lap number 1 does not score for Mike Mcconville. It is really easy to clip one of these walls, get the 0x, and not have the lap score.
Yeah, you got to run that car all the way up to the wall exiting turns, and you got to run it down pretty much the inside where the cusp of the banking is. Although I see these new cars, they're running a lot higher entering turn, which is really interesting to me.
And Mike Mcconville going quick time, 18.771 seconds, 18.771 the lap time for Mike Mcconville. Again, no real surprise there. Mike is quick in just about everything he runs. We've seen him be very quick in the PM18s. That one's going to be a fun one to watch. Taking a look at the point standings as we enter tonight's race. This one should be a pretty good one as we get down the stretch here. Johnny Avila currently holding on to a 24-point lead over Tyler Seville. It's not quite in the books just yet. With the off week coming next week, then a couple of more races at Rockingham and Nashville, hypothetically, Tyler Seville could catch Johnny Avila for the championship. The reality of things is not real likely to happen. Avila having an absolutely spectacular season. 7 starts, 4 poles, 4 wins, 5 top 5s, all 7 of his starts inside the top 10 at the end of the race, and only 8 incidents over the course of the season. That's probably the stat that really sticks out to me. Very, very impressive season thus far for Johnny Avila. But the same can be said for Tyler Seville, as we have John Eckhart out on the racetrack, so we'll pick him up in the Skittles Zombie number 18. See what John's going to be able to do here. And again, he runs it well wide at the entrance to turn number 3. That's not typically the way we see this. That's a little bit more of a turn 1 type line there, Patrick. Instead of turn 3 and 4, you always kind of had to hug the curb on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, the car kind of wants to push up through there. So you enter real low, car kind of pushes up, you diamond the corner a little bit, and then exit low, kind of like a Martinsville line. But this next-gen car, really, really interesting around there. It almost makes me curious to see how they run Martinsville, if it's changed how that track gets run.
Yeah, God, I hope not. The bump and run needs to still be a thing at Martinsville. I'll take side-by-side racing, but that the short tracks are known for contact. I mean, we saw it at Bristol. 500 laps in the real world. This is, what, a decade ago, I guess. 500 laps of side-by-side racing. It was incredible. And the fans absolutely hated it. So hopefully we don't see stuff like that come about here to Martinsville as well. Still waiting on Tim Knott and Jason Franks to take their times in qualifying, and still about 4 minutes left in the session to do so. .27.02 the strength of field for this evening's race. Pretty impressive licenses here. Let's show you the details on this one alongside the best times. All A-class licenses. The lowest rating in the field is Richard Fletcher at a 1300. Highest in the field belongs to Johnny Avila and his 5100. As we pick up the number 7 Will's Eye Hospital Wawa Tasty Cake, number 7 of Jason Franks out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Toyota Camry coming around to start the clock here on lap number 1. Interesting numbers that we're seeing here. Just getting the word from one of the drivers here that potentially as many as 165 to 180 green flag laps. That is the vast majority of this race. We're only going 200. I would imagine then, Patrick, unfortunately for us, the pit window, that means is going to open at about lap, 35, maybe lap 40, and go all the way to the end of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I think it opens up as early as, 25 even. We get a nice early race caution. You know, you might have one of your outliers pull in the pits then, not stop the whole rest of the race, and end up your winner if that's the way it played out.
You very well could. If you stop at lap 10, get a couple of caution flags along the way, you don't have to come back in.
Another thing I've noticed on this car is the biggest thing you're waiting for leaving the pit box is fuel. You're waiting for fuel now, no longer tires. So if you take your early stop, fill the car up, and you're good on fuel, you can take a dive down the pit lane, throw tires on the car, and be out faster than everyone else.
Yeah, we could even see something like a right side tire stop here. This is one of those kind of unique scenarios where the tire wear looks like it very well could come into play. Waiting to hear back here because I just asked the question what the tire wear is like. Very well could be one of those races that you get a late 2-tire stop, could be worth it. I mean, you're only talking a 10-car field. The worst you're going to restart is outside of row 5. couple of cautions, couple of cars, in the fence, out of the race, whatever it is. Now all of a sudden you're talking about maybe it's a 6-car battle for the lead with 20, 30, 40 laps to go, whatever it is. That right side tire stop could be very beneficial.
Yeah, or if you're the only car to pit, throw all 4 on the car, and then you have to push through the field. It's not a lot of cars to pass, and you'll be on fresher rubber than all of them, and you can just kind of drive by them like you're standing still.
Absolutely. And want to remind everybody, thank you very much if you're checking in on YouTube or on Twitch here this evening. Give us a shout in the comments. We will be able to get what you have to say up on the air. Super Chats just about guarantee that we're going to get your comment up on the air as well. Getting the comment box fired up here so we can pull those up onto the broadcast. And one of the things I love about calling the races that are a little bit shorter field like this, we get to be truly interactive over the course of the race. So let's make this a discussion here. One of the things, Patrick, I'm sure we will talk about at some point, we're getting to the midpoint of week 12, which means update time is coming in the very, very near future. A lot of the stuff is starting to leak out about what is coming in this next update for the iRacing platform. I don't think we're going to see rain, but it would not surprise me if that's the bomb that iRacing drops on us.
Rain would be fantastic. And it has been confirmed that you will be able to drive in a hosted session with rain on an oval. Which just means shenanigans to the max.
Your ears perked up.
Oh, yeah. I saw that, and every fantasy I've ever had in an iRacing hosted lobby had just come true.
Yes, Nissan GTPs at Bristol in the rain.
They have headlights and rain tires. It would work perfectly.
I'm sure it would. Let's take a look here at the starting grid for tonight's races. We're going to get the last couple of cars, just waiting on Tim Knott to get out on the grid. Starting on the pole tonight, piloting the 57 out of Cape May, New Jersey. A Star Wars Mighty Ducks mashup paint scheme on the side of the car for Mike Mcconville. Lining up to his outside, your current points leader, piloting the number 63 out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the Bulldog Roofworks Ford Mustang of Johnny Avila. Starting in the 3rd position tonight, piloting car number 11, the Ford Mustang with Arch Telecom and PNC Bank on the side, belongs to Clearwater, Florida's Tyler Seville. Lining up to his outside in the number 28 out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, the Thrustmaster Chevrolet Camaro of Troy Haight. Row number 3 will have the 14 of Alliance, Ohio's A.J. Digby in the custom paints and die-cast Rocket Ship Chevrolet Camaro. Lining up alongside of him will be the 17 of Mooresville, North Carolina's Kevin Stone, the RS Custom Paints from Uchiware Desert Hobbies Ford Mustang. John Eckhart will line up in the 7th position. Eckhart out of Hazel Green, Alabama, the Skittles Zombie Toyota Camry. To his outside, the 43 of Thomasville, North Carolina's Richard Fletcher. Jason Franks and Tim Knott will comprise the final 2 starters tonight. Franks in the Wills Eye Hospital Wawa Tasty Cake Toyota. Green flag goes in the air. We are underway here at North Wilkesboro. Drag race for the lead lasts the entire first lap of this race. Johnny Avila, Mike Mcconville doing big-time battle down the back straightaway. They'll continue to be side by side. Thus far, only Tim Knott, Jason Franks, not fully in the pack with everybody else. Finally, at lap number 3, Mcconville gets out to the lead.
Avila is still trying to fight back, though. Seems like they're side by side once more.
I'll take 200 laps of side-by-side for the race lead. What was that about fans hating it at Bristol?
I loved it. What was that, 2015? 2015 is one I remember especially notable. The night race there was fantastic.
Mike Mcconville giving us a shout-out here. We'll get this comment up on the screen.
Oh, and Avila goes
big
down.
contact! Avila and Mcconville into the outside wall. The commentator's curse strikes in a huge way for Johnny Avila and Mike Mcconville. Oh, my goodness. Huge incident. And we are definitely going to need the tight replays on that one. Get you the instant replay here. See what happened. Oh, man, Mcconville got loose off the corner and big contact with Avila. Holy cow, that was a big wiggle for Mike Mcconville. Take a look at this one again. A little bit too much throttle. Almost looked like Punterino. The comment from Mike Mcconville, by the way, from inside the Pole Center. Hope it's a fun show tonight. Hope to see y'all in Victory Lane. Mike, we cursed you. I'm sorry, buddy.
I believe he cursed himself. You can't put that one on us.
I don't know about that. So caution flag number 1 coming out here. Lap number 7. I would imagine here, Patrick, you're probably talking about maybe a little bit too early to attempt the oddball strategy call.
Just a touch too early. I think you have to wait at least to lap 15, lap 25 optimally.
But, man, I'll tell you what. An incident like that, taking the top 2 cars basically out of the race. Now, they do have a backup car available. So it's not like Avila and Mcconville are out of this just yet. And basically, they're now going to start on the 5th row. I'll tell you what, this sort of makes me a little bit nervous. We saw this a lot in practice. The hypothetical limit is 165 to 180 laps on fuel. The reality is we didn't see much more than 20-ish lap runs because these cars got snappy loose on corner exit.
Yeah, and how many sets of tires do they have in the box tonight?
That's a great question, but I'm going to assume the answer is not enough.
Yeah, it's really going to be a question of who's going to baby the car the most and get the most out of those tires.
Johnny Avila, yellow number 2 already out here. Big trouble in turn number 1. Looks like Tim Knott and Troy Haight going to be involved in this one. Let's see what happened here. Oh, Punterino from the 7 of frags. Oh, man, big hit for the 41 of Tim Knott. Troy Haight.
Johnny Avila sitting there having flashbacks watching that whole thing.
Let's go on board here with Troy Haight, but I believe that contact may have blown the motor on that car. Well, okay, nope. So it didn't blow the motor, but he did have to take the tow into the pit lane. Tough break there for Troy Haight. He's going to have to wait out the tow. Lap number 12 already. 2 caution flags in here to the Sim Racers Club. 3rd to last race of the season, I guess you would call it, here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. They will be off tomorrow night then head to Rockingham Speedway and then the Nashville Super Speedway to round things out. So the final short track of the season for these cars. This is even typically a little bit lighter of an entry list than what we would ordinarily see. You wonder if there's not a little bit of panic selling, I guess you would say here. This place can be very not friendly to race cars.
No, and I think that's why it's so loved, is everybody has a tough time around this track. I don't know anyone who's really good at this track, but I don't think I know anyone that doesn't like this track, which just makes it the perfect combination.
Pit stop number 2 for Mike Mcconville, who will now be leading the Whelen Modified Tour division here with the whole front end of that car torn off. 28.48 seconds the time of the stop for Mcconville. Tim Knott also coming into the pits. Well, no, he's got the front end off of his race car as well, it looks like. So it's actually going to be Tim Knott leading the Modifieds. 16.7 seconds the time of the stop for Tim Knott. Johnny Avila coming in at 9.95 seconds. I would imagine that's a little bit of damage repair. Doubtful that it's a tire change. But now we've run basically 13 or so laps under caution. You're starting to get into that wiggle room of, can you make it from here?
If we get a bunch more cautions, absolutely you can make it from here. Especially if during these cautions you're just saving the car, saving those tires, and not really pushing them until you need to at the end.
Pace truck is in. Green flag is back in the air. We are underway once again. Seville going to lead the field into turn number 1. Oh, man, almost contact there between John Eckhart and A.J. Digby. Eckhart holding on to second. Digby currently runs third. I would imagine race control is probably in their ears a little bit, saying, all right, boys, let's settle it down. Long way to go. Get some laps logged here. Thus far, Troy Haight is the only car being listed as out of the race. Not sure if he had to do any repair work on that car, but Johnny Avila, after taking the stop at lap number 12, already running in the 4th position. He's having a look to the inside of Digby off of 4. Avila able to clear Digby. Now Kevin Stone trying to have the look. Not quite close enough to attempt the pass there. Interesting line that we're seeing Johnny Avila run there, Patrick. Is that a tire conservation mode type thing to keep the car up high in the corners like that, at least in 1 and 2?
Yeah, hanging around up high against that wall, you're not scrubbing the tires as much, and you're not going to wear the fronts as much. However, to make that work, you have to get on the power earlier, and that's really going to hurt those rears. I don't know if that's the right call. I would think with how these cars get snap loose, I'd want to scrub the fronts a lot more than the rears.
Jason Franks getting around Tim Knott. Franks, the only car we didn't get to show you the close-up on here during the driver intros. That is the number 7 Camry down to the inside of the racetrack. Pretty spirited little battle here with Tim Knott. This is one of the things I love about the short tracks, Patrick. Aero doesn't mean a darn thing. Give me lots of horsepower and a right foot to control it.
Yeah, I mean, with the diffusers on these cars, you might be able to still get a little bit, even if you scrub that front nose off. And it might just give you enough to keep those rears hooked up.
Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting one to watch over the course of the real-world season and especially the race here tonight. we haven't really seen these cars without any of the front bodywork. In reality, the car is integrated and designed to be almost a wing, where it's using the underside of the race car to generate more downforce than the top side.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to see a lot less bump and runs just for the fear of damaging that nose of the car. At the same time, the biggest downforce producing component is that diffuser that's all exposed back there. So I wonder with a good bump and run if you could damage that diffuser in the car in front of you enough to slow him down for the rest of the race.
And the way we've seen them come loose at Daytona and Auto Club Speedway, good Lord, that makes me a little bit nervous thinking about the that little bit of contact on the mile and a half could make these things incredibly sketchy. Seeing the message here, we actually had Mike Mcconville checking in the pre-race, saying that the car's wearing the right front and getting very tight on the longer runs, which is, I guess, would be expected. If you're going to burn off the right front, the car's just going to want to slide on corner edges. AJ Digby, Kevin Stone continuing to battle here. John Eckhart, Johnny Avila also having a nice little brawl here as they come through 1 and 2. At this point, looking at where all the numbers are stacking up, 24 points is looking more and more less likely a situation that Tyler Seville is going to be able to overcome here. At best, it's a 10-point swing tonight. You still have 2 races, but he basically needs Johnny Avila to finish last, next to last, whatever you want to call it, in each of the last 3 races.
Which does not seem to be happening with the way he's trucked back onto his field.
Yeah, the only problem for Avila is he's now got to be very careful. He's used the backup car. There's no wiggle room. There's no getting yourself collected in somebody else's issue. You got to really keep that work to keep that car in one piece. Slide back here, pick up the battle between AJ Digby and Kevin Stone. They are battling for the 4th position. That is the tightest fight on the racetrack right now. Tyler Seville out to a 1.4 second lead over John Eckhart. Johnny Avila running in 3rd. Oh, in trouble on the racetrack for John Eckhart. He has an issue and goes around in turns 3 and 4. Jason Franks has to almost come to a stop. Tim Knott flying around the outside as well. Caution flag number 3 coming out here at lap 38. And it is trouble for John Eckhart. Oh, and he got a little bit of help.
He kept it going for a while, though.
Nice, long, lazy slide. Going to put him towards the back of the pack here, but not a huge deal there. Pit stops underway at this point. Johnny Avila, Mike Mcconville, AJ Digby, Richard Fletcher, Jason Franks, all on the pit road. Now, Kevin Stone, Tim Knott, John Eckhart coming in. Only car that has not made a stop yet is Tyler Seville. There's not any way that Seville could make it all 200 laps, could he?
If we keep getting a bunch of cautions, he might. I don't think his tires are really like that. But
I was going to say, is it worth it to try it? I guess the other alternative is, even if you stay out until past the halfway point, you're only going to restart in 9th. Not a lot of sense in making the pit stops early here. Only real issue is you can't go a lap down.
Well, you can go a lap down as long as you stay first car in the lead lap.
That's true.
First car, 1 lap down.
Right. Stay the first car 1 lap down, and you would be the lucky dog.
Yep, just save those tires in the box. This way we get a bunch of late race cautions. Just toss tires on each time.
I would imagine the flip side of that strategy for everybody but Tyler Seville is they are looking at trying to go the rest of this race without a stop. As the green flag goes back in the air, John Eckhart just getting caught up to the back of the field. Side by side, 4 rows deep through 1 and 2. The dance will continue through 3 and 4 with Seville and Avila battling for the race lead. A.J. Digby going to be right there as well. Jason Franks recovering from his issue a little bit ago. He's back up to the 4th position. Tell you what, Johnny Avila strong there with the outside run. Taking advantage of the new tires, and Tyler Seville may be a bit of a sitting duck here. But this really goes back to the discussion that we were just having, Patrick. It sort of doesn't matter here at lap 44, almost lap 45.
No, especially with such a small field. Like we've been saying, there's no real penalty to sitting at the back of the pack, as long as you don't go multiple laps down.
Everybody does remain on the lead lap. Troy Haight, the only car out of the race. Haight going to finish in the 10th position tonight, completing 9 laps. Kevin Stone now to the inside of Seville. I would imagine Tyler Seville is not real happy with the choice to stay out on the racetrack. Although, if that's the strategy call, I am guilty of this when I'm in the race car. You see everybody else pit, and you're going, oh, man, like, you know, it kind of gets your brain working a little bit. The reality is this is the strategy that Tyler Seville has called for himself. If he knows what the strategy is going to be, is it tough to stick to the strategy there?
Yeah, just because, especially if during the early part of the race, you just keep going backwards and backwards. It gets really frustrating, and you start to lose faith in the strategy. Sometimes there could be a huge reward to it. Obviously, if he wins the race, the strategy worked out perfect. But it is your risk. This strategy could just blow up right in his face, could go multiple laps down, and end up going home without anything.
Back at the front of the field, Johnny Avila is your race leader by 1/3 of a second over A.J. Digby, and that is the tightest battle for position right now. Jason Franks runs 3rd. But he's about 3/4 of a second back of Digby, a full second back of the race leader. Kevin Stone runs 4th, a further 3/4 seconds back, then another 1.2 back to Mike Mcconville in 5th. Field coming off of turn number 4 to complete lap number 51. How about it? We haven't done one of these yet tonight. Y'all go ahead and crank it up. Big slide up to the outside of the racetrack for Jason Franks. That's going to let Kevin Stone attack down to the inside. Franks trying to hold on up on the high side of the racetrack. Never in the history of this place did we see people running that high through 3 and 4. That line's a little bit more normal-ish through 1 and 2, but...
Well, never in history have we had ground effect stock cars running at this track.
Yes, ground effect stock cars with independent rear suspensions and the low-profile tire. I mean, this is everything about these cars is unlike anything North Wilkesboro has ever seen.
I wonder if they've ever run like super mods here. That might be the most similar thing to these cars at this point.
Yeah, actually, there is a... That's sort of the last real races that were run at North Wilkesboro. Pulling up the Google box here.
For those of you unfamiliar, a super mod is basically like you took a NASCAR Tour Modified, took all the unnecessary stuff all off of it, gave it a bunch more horsepower, and slapped the sprint car wing on the top of it. They are just every child's dream of what a race car should be.
Going back to 2010, the ASA Late Model Series ran the King's Ransom 300, and the past late models ran here at North Wilkesboro. Chase Elliott actually has a win at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, picking up a win in the Labor Day Classic 200 for the past series. Also, the USAR Pro Cup Series ran in 2010. That was the Brushy Mountain 250. 2011 was the last season of racing. That was the Pro All-Star Series or the Pass South Series. An event simply called The Race. Qualifying heats, couple of last chance qualifiers, setting a 44-car field. Race was initially won by, trying to find the name in here, Chris Eggleston, and then he was DQ'd in tech after the race, and the most late model of late model things to go on. Race winner gets DQ'd in post-race tech. And Bubba Pollard finished second, also disqualified. So Jeff Chiquette.
I was just about to ask. Typical late models, first and second gets disqualified, and occasionally third and fourth as well.
That is correct. However, pretty good field. Ryan Blaney finished 6th, Ross Kenseth 7th, Cale Gale 12th, Eric Darnell, Jeff Bodine, Kenzie Rustin, Greg Gaulding, Sterling Marlin, all running in that race, in the race, for the past South Series back in 2011. That was the last real-world racing action this place saw. But it looks like that'll be coming back here in the very near future.
Sterling Marlin was probably there, broke his retirement to come out and race, because he probably witnessed the ground being broken on the construction of this racetrack.
He's not that old, but not far away either. So now that we've had that little aside on the history of North Wilkesboro Speedway, at least modern history, let's take a look here at the rundown through the field. Currently running at the front is Toronto, Ontario, Canada's Johnny Avila. In the number 63, Bulldog Roofworks Ford Mustang. Avila's been very, very quick. Qualified on the outside of the front row. Early race incident put him back in the field, took the backup car out, and Avila has been strong as strong gets since bringing this car back on the racetrack. He made a pit stop at lap number 38, as did second place running A.J. Digby. Digby in the number 14, custom paints and die-cast rocket ship Chevrolet Camaro for the Alliance Ohio native. Coming around to complete lap number 69. Digby going to hold on to second. Third across the line here will be the 17 of Kevin Stone. The Mooresville, North Carolina native driving the RS Custom Paints Famucci Wear Desert Hobbies Ford Mustang for Pixelated Sim Sports. That car is showing some signs of wear and tear as well. Just back behind him, another car really beat up is the number 7 of Jason Franks, the Wills Eye Hospital Wawa Tasty Cake Toyota Camry for the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania native. Currently running in 5th in the first of the modifieds. It is Mike Mcconville out of Cape May, New Jersey. It says it's a Chevrolet Camaro, but, well, all the front bodywork is missing off of that race car right now. Neat little Mighty Ducks Star Wars paint scheme on that one, though. Currently running in the 6th position is the number 18 of John Eckhart, the Hazel Green, Alabama native in the Skittles Zombie Toyota Camry for Pixelated Sim Sports. Will Worsler Racing with 3 entries tonight. Pixelated Sim Sports with 3. Mcconville driving for Shattered Dream Racing. And race leader Johnny Avila running for Synergy Esports here this evening. 7th place belongs... Go ahead, Patrick.
I was just about to say, I'm amazed that modified division. Those guys are running the same lap times as everyone else on this track. That missing the front clip has not slowed these cars down at all.
It's just a bolt-on. Only car in the field not to make an appearance on pit road yet is the number 11 of Tyler Seville, Clearwater, Florida native, driving the Arch Telecom PNC Bank Ford Mustang for Will Worsler Racing. Seville is on the alternate strategy at this point, but he does have an extra set of tires in the box. So long as he doesn't go a lap down, and he's still about a quarter of a racetrack away from going a lap down, he's going to be in pretty good shape here. Running in the 8th position is the number 43 at Thomasville, North Carolina's Richard Fletcher, Custom Paints and Diecast Ford Mustang. Again, one of the better looking cars out here on the racetrack. Love the the matte black, matte white with the gloss green print on that. Sharp looking race car. Fletcher also the only driver in the field right now to run where he qualified. Currently in the 8th position. Final car still running on the racetrack is the number 41 of Tim Knott, the Dallas, Texas native in the Gunskins Penske Shock Century 21 Mike Bowman Toyota Camry. Pixelated Sim Sports, the team, and the crew guy's going to have some work to do here on this one. Another car currently running 2nd in the Wheel and Modified division. Lot of torn up carbon fiber on the front of that number 41 machine. I don't think that, in fact, Patrick, this is something that I don't know that we would see in the real world, because NASCAR requires the front and rear bodywork to be attached. We saw that at Daytona with cars losing the rear bumper cover. They were having to come back in and put them back on.
Yeah, the benefit of these composite bodies, though, is it's no longer speed taping the rear clip and the front clip onto the car. It's unbolt the old one, drop the new one back in. I wouldn't be surprised they got speed nuts on those things.
Yeah, Zeus fastener, something like that, especially at the short tracks where you have to have the ability to get that nose on and off. The other big one that we've seen in the real world, and quite frankly, it's going to be an issue at some of these racetracks. You spin the car out, have a flat tire, and you get the thing beached. We haven't seen that in the iRacing world yet. I think these cars are running a little bit higher off the ground. But that's definitely going to be something to follow along with as the real world season rolls on. This battle is for position, by the way, between Mcconville and John Eckhart, fighting for the 5th position. Just a little bit up ahead of them, side by side, Kevin Stone and Jason Franks battling for 3rd.
It's amazing. It doesn't look like the top line or the bottom line has a huge advantage, one or the other. The top line seems to be a little bit stronger exiting the corner, but not so much that you're losing the time, especially in 3 and 4. This bottom line has come in.
Oh, save it, save it. Kevin Stone slides around backwards. He's going to be sideways across the racetrack. Caution is out.
It doesn't look like he hit that wall very hard, though. Looks like he's still got an all right race car to play with.
If he touched it at all, it was just a kiss. Man, same thing that we saw early in the race with Mike Mcconville and Johnny Avila into turn 1. Just the slightest bit of push turns to snap oversteer. And this is by far the longest run we've had, 50 laps on this set of tires. Going back to the live look here is we're going to have everybody coming down pit lane. Johnny Avila, AJ Digby, Jason Franks, Mike Mcconville, John Eckhart, Kevin Stone, Tyler Seville, all on the pit lane. And this is sort of like you talked about, Patrick. Tyler Seville just getting to his box now. He's only going to restart, what, 7th? And he's going to have one extra set of tires in the box late for this one.
Yeah, it seems to have worked out for him pretty well. I mean, with the field this small, you can play a lot with the strategy. There's not many bad strategy calls you can make.
So we'll take a look and see what's going to be coming here. Mike Mcconville getting out of pit lane first. He will be your race leader. 8.32 seconds, the time of the stop. So we should get the 1 to go signal here this time by. Under the next caution flag, we'll see if we can't get some of the drivers up here into the booth with us, at least once the pit stops are completed. Field is doubled up, getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Green flag back in the air. We are underway. Johnny Avila jumps out to the race lead on the outside of the racetrack. There's maybe a little bit of the answer on the downforce question. Jason Franks getting to the high side as well. Mike Mcconville just not able to get the front of that race car planted down on corner entry, and it is costing. Tyler Seville down to the oh, there goes the 14, goes around. That's AJ Digby hard into the inside concrete retaining wall. How did that not tear the front of that race car off? That was a pretty big hit. Light contact on the outside, and we are back under the caution flag for the 5th time here this evening.
I'm surprised he didn't flip the thing doing that. It looked like it wanted to get some air.
You're not going to get a blowover here, Patrick.
You saw how high that back end went up in the air.
I was going to say, that was a big hit into the inside retaining wall. So I would imagine we will see A.J. Digby down pit road. Very likely to have a meatball. So as we work under the caution flag here, oh, and a tough break for A.J. Digby. He has already used the backup car, it looks like. Clock is ticking. And well over 20 seconds now of pit stop time. So, looks like A.J. Digby could be in for a little bit of a tough row here. Let's see if we can talk to our race leader under the caution flag here, Johnny Avila. I'll tell you what, Johnny, the car looks pretty good here out here after that first lap, couple laps incident. What are you feeling behind the wheel of that number 63?
It feels pretty good. It's a little tight center, so I'm just trying to take care of the right front. It's easy to overdrive the entry and then slide up. So I'm just trying to take care of my car.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck the rest of the way here. Thank you very much for checking in with us. We appreciate it. Let's see who else we can get here. Well, let's see. Lights are still on the iRacing safety car. So, let's see if we can't grab Mike Mcconville here. Mike, we were putting your comment on the air when your incident happened in turn number 1, the greatest of commentators' curses. How is the car after the repairs leading the modified tour division, but it seems like it's not real grippy either?
Nah, it's really hurt. It was loose in practice, and it's a dump truck now. I'm just trying to survive.
What are your at this point? Like you mentioned, the survival bit here. Are you thinking? And very quickly here, as we get the one to go. I mean, what can you do with it at this point?
Well, I got one set of tires left in the pits, and I'm hoping for a late caution, strap them on, and see what I can do.
All right, Mike. Good luck the rest of the way here, bud. Thank you very much. And, yeah, there you go. He's got one set of tires left. We're at the halfway point. Good Lord. This could be a very interesting second half of this race here, Patrick. Who knows what we could see at this point?
I don't think anyone does. I don't even think the drivers do.
Oh, man, Mcconville really having trouble getting that car up to speed. He's talking about the car driving like a dump truck. Means he's got to slow it way down on corner entry to get the front end to rotate. Jason Franks, Tyler Seville both getting past. Oh, big contact. Kevin Stone's into the wall. Richard Fletcher also, I think, going to be involved, as is John Eckhart. Caution flag back out for the 6th time here this evening. Pretty big hits there for Kevin Stone and John Eckhart. Take a look and see what happened at the entry to turn number 1. Oh, the 18 just got loose on corner exit. Big hit for Stone. Nice piece of evasive driving by A.J. Digby. But John Eckhart also with a pretty big hit into the outside retaining wall. No safer barrier here yet either. Kevin Stone, Tim Knott both coming down pit lane. John Eckhart going to stay out on the racetrack. But yeah, this is going to be a very long repair for the 17 of Kevin Stone. Car not even up on the jacks yet. I would imagine probably the same for Tim Knott. Yeah, both of those cars sitting without being up on the jacks. Tough break for those two drivers. Going to put us down to 7 cars remaining on the lead lap. Well, Kevin Stone down and away, 19.97 seconds. Tim Knott down and away, 22:35 the time of the stop. Here comes John Eckhart. Also, A.J. Digby making his way down pit lane. I would imagine, Patrick, this is probably one of those deals of even if it's not required repairs, not a bad time to get the optionals done. You can do about 20 seconds worth and then get back out on the racetrack.
Yeah, just fix a little bit of the damage, try and get that car to handle just a touch better for you during the rest of this race here.
Still have not gotten the 1 to go signal. Now the field's gotten the 1 to go. It'll be Johnny Avila and Jason Franks on row number 1. Row 2 is going to have Tyler Seville and Mike Mcconville. Richard Fletcher will restart 5th. Tim Knott may have to restart inside, on that inside lane, as will Kevin Stone. So only 2 rows of cars. Everybody else going to fall in line here after the pit stops. Oh, and Frank's hard into the outside wall on acceleration. Man, that was a huge hit for Jason Franks. I can't believe he got that car to turn into turn 1.
He kept it going and we stay green. That thing looks all beat up. I don't think it's turning very well. I think those walls are helping him get around these corners.
Yeah, this is ride the concrete as long as you can get away with it, I should say. Up in the front, we got a good battle shaping up here, too, for the race lead. Tyler Seville looking inside of Johnny Avila. Who's it going to be at the line? Avila, not by much. Now working lap number 110. Still side by side for the lead. Mike Mcconville doing a great job holding on to 3rd. Take a look. Let's go on board here with your race leader. Off the throttle at the start-finish line. Kind of interesting. These are 5-speed cars, but only running 4th gear here for Johnny Avila. We did hear some drivers are running 5th and shifting, some electing to stay in 4th gear. Kevin Stone having a look inside of Richard Fletcher. Tim Knott trying to go with them on the inside of the racetrack. These guys all being held up behind Mike Mcconville. But Mcconville running in 3rd right now. Doing a very nice job of, well, quite frankly, holding everybody behind him that he needs to. But this is making for a pretty wild pack race. Three wide around North Wilkesboro. Let's get after it. Jason Franks up on the top side of the racetrack through 3 and 4 that time. Both of those cars going to come around A.J. Digby, now being scored 1 lap down. Franks and Fletcher continue to battle side by side. I guess not too bad a damage for the 7 of Jason Franks. Kevin Stone finally able to get clear of Mike Mcconville, and Tim Knott came through. So now it's going to be Knott and Mcconville leading the modifieds. And the battle for the race lead still ongoing side by side. I could take another 75 laps of Johnny Avila and Tyler Seville running side by side here for the race lead.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like one has the advantage over the other. They seem to just be staying like this. I wonder if anyone's going to try and back out, maybe fake the guy into making a mistake.
You wonder, are they beating up the tires at all here, trying to fight for the lead like this? This is still pretty early in the run. Avila and Seville both stopping at lap 88. Stone stopping at 105. Tim Knott stopping at 103. That's a long way to go if you're going to try to make these tires last the rest of the way. Battle for the lead settling down to about a half second through turns 1 and 2. But that's as much a function of Seville running the inside lane, Avila running the outside lane. They're making almost identical lap times. 1915, 1918. This last time, 1916, 1923. They're making the pace in completely different ways. This battle between Mike Mcconville and Richard Fletcher is for the 6th position. A little bit further up, Kevin Stone and Jason Franks battling for 3rd. Looks like we've settled in a little bit here, Patrick. So let's talk about what's coming in the next week or so. The iRacing forums are typically abuzz with rumors and confirmations and everything else of what's coming in the new build. Quite frankly, pretty light in terms of information that's been dropped by iRacing staff. The 1987 NASCAR Buick is coming to iRacing, which is absolutely incredible.
And Tony Kanaan kind of, sort of, didn't really, but almost did leak that we are getting the Brazilian stock car this coming update, which is going to be fantastic. Those cars are a blast.
Tell the viewers a little bit about what those cars are.
So the Brazilian stock cars, I don't believe they're an 8-cylinder. I believe they're a 6-cylinder. However, basically take a NASCAR chassis and then throw a German touring car body on it, and then put a bunch of angry Brazilians behind the wheel and just tell them, boys, have at it. And they put on some of the best racing I have ever seen. I religiously watch that series. Even though I don't speak a word of Portuguese, I still listen to the commentators as best I can follow along, and it's always fantastic. And I can't wait till we get those cars in the iRacing service, because it's almost like the German touring car we always wanted, just better.
I was going to say, it's probably more akin to like the British Touring Car Championship automobiles.
I wouldn't go that far. Now it's a Chevy Sonic, and Peugeot pulled out, but now they have the Toyota Corolla. But they are rear-wheel drive. They are not front-wheel drive cars like they are over in Europe.
I cannot wait to get our hands on those race cars. They are going to be a blast. The battle for the race lead, by the way, is now out to about 1 second for Tyler Seville over Johnny Avila. This is the tightest fight on the racetrack. Kevin Stone and Jason Franks, they're running about a half second apart. Looking at the other stuff that we know is confirmed for this build, the iRacing Grand Prix Tour is coming back. That will use the new Mercedes F1 car. The More Endurance Series, MOAR, endurance series. That is going to be GT4s and touring cars following the IMSA Pilot Challenge schedule. That should be fun. Bi-weekly races, limited time slots, and it's going to be the touring cars and the GT4s.
When I was down at Daytona this year, and when I was at Lime Rock, those cars put on a fantastic show. They almost beat out the main show, just in terms of sheer excitement. Their races are about 3 hours long for the real big shows, about an hour and a half for the smaller shows. And it's full-on sprint race, beat the doors off these things for the entire duration of the race.
Yeah, and we're going to see that here. These are going to be 2-hour-long solo drives, by the way. Run them every other week. That just sounds like an absolute blast. Also, multiple tire compounds will be required for the Grand Prix Open and the Tour, and for the IndyCar Open and the iRacing Series as well. So if you're running the road courses, you will have a required pit stop and a required tire compound change. That's something that we don't typically see on iRacing outside of top-tier A-Class and Pro Series.
Yeah, that's a fun bit of strategy, too, because a lot of times, especially in IndyCar, you can get away with running the whole race on the primaries. There's no reason to switch over to the options. It forces you to make a pit stop if you run the options. Now you've got to run them. And that's going to make everything real fun. Do you start in the options and try and use that to weave your way through the traffic, or do you start on the primaries, hold out as best you can, then once the track clears up, take those options and set real fast lap times?
Sounding like there may be a new GT vehicle coming on the roadside as well, possibly a Mercedes-AMG Evo or the Audi R8 Evo.
I thought it was going to be the Aston Martin.
It could be. That's the other rumor that has been going around. Basically being released about a month before the Nürburgring 24. That will be a pretty interesting watch to see what comes out of there. On the implied side of things, this is where the Brazilian stock cars are listed, along with the new GT vehicle. Also, Federated Auto Parts Raceway at I-55, Peevely, Missouri, coming to the iRacing service. I love Peevely. Oh my goodness, is that one of the best dirt tracks on the planet? On the maybe side of things, this is stuff that it's confirmed that the racetracks have been scanned. You just don't know how far in the development process they are. And also, there was a little bit of iRacing spilling the beans. There may be a Formula 4 car coming because it's already baked into the software. At some point, a Formula 4 car is coming.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the Formula 4 chassis incredibly similar to the Indy Pro 2000 and USF 2000 chassis?
Pretty much.
I know it's the same manufacturer.
Yes, Tatus does the manufacturing on those cars. The other one that is, again, this is kind of bean spilling, but it's coming from Dale Earnhardt Jr. If it's coming from Redneck Jesus, his mouth to the iRacing God's ears is Jason Franks having a big dive inside of Kevin Stone into one.
I was going to say, we got a race on our hands up here.
Yep, they're going to fight pretty well here for the third position. Both of these cars pretty beat up. But Frank's going to be able to clear Stone. And remember when we talked about the battle for the lead not being all that close? Well, here it is, back within a couple of car lengths. A second street stock is coming to the iRacing platform at some point. Hashtag allegedly.
Oh boy, are we getting the G-Body street stock?
A Monte Carlo street stock and a proper mini stock 4-cylinder.
That will be fantastic.
I cannot wait to see these cars light them up. Just ahead of the battle for the race lead, the Modifieds are getting after it. Mike Mcconville and Tim Knott battling side by side. This is really not what you want to see if you're the race leaders.
No, however, it's going to spice some things up, and hopefully multi-class racing makes its way to NASCAR in the future.
I would be all for it. Run an exhibition race at the Daytona Road Course and put Cup cars, Xfinity cars, and trucks out there together.
Throw the Modifieds on the track, too. Why not?
Well, yes, they can turn right, but I think this will be the first time in years they'll be going to, I believe, Watkins Glen, maybe? I don't remember. It's been a long time since the Modifieds were turning right.
Wait, are they returning to Watkins Glen?
I could check the schedule on that one.
They return to the Glen. I am all for it. Johnny Avila is making the pass on Tyler Seville now, or at least attempting to.
Having the big dive down to the inside. Oh, there's contact! The leaders are wadding it up. Caution is out. What a save, Johnny Avila and Tyler Seville.
They kept it rolling, but we had a jumpy caution button, and this is going to spice this race up once again.
Get after it. My goodness, let's show you the replay on this one. Contact into the outside wall. Both cars getting a little bit banged up here. Tell you what, probably not a ton of damage for Johnny Avila, but remember, he's used the backup car. I think Tyler Seville has as well. If these cars need any kind of long duration work on pit road,
could be night over.
Johnny Avila coming down pit lane. Tyler Seville, Jason Franks. Kevin Stone going to stay out on the racetrack.
Johnny Avila is having a rough day on that front stretch.
Everybody is having a rough day. That's the challenge of driving these new race cars. And quite frankly, I'm here for every bit of it. See Mike Mcconville on pit lane as well. Avila's crew all the way already around to the left-hand side. Cars down off the jack, and there is repair work ongoing for Johnny Avila and Tyler Seville. Land rush off of pit lane. Let's see where everybody's going to shake out here. There's your new race leader, Kevin Stone. Let's see if we can't get a word in here with Kevin pretty quickly here as we get ready to go back to green in the next lap or so. But I tell you what, Kevin, you've been around backwards all over the place. The right side of that car is absolutely beat to hell, and you're leading here with 45 to go. Tell us about the night.
Yeah, it's been up and down. Right now, I'm in trouble here because I forgot to uncheck the tires box, so I was on my last set, so I think I'm going to drop pretty quick.
Oh, man, that's going to be a rough 40 or so lap stint here. Good luck holding on to that car at the front of the field, and thank you very much for checking in here with us. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thanks.
So your race leader is out of tires. Let's see if we have... I don't see Jason Franks anywhere for us to talk to, unfortunately. Tyler Seville currently running in the 7th position. But I'll tell you what here, Patrick. 8 cars remain on the racetrack, and 8 cars are on the lead lap. Everybody still in this race has got a shot at the win.
I was going to say, it's still anyone's race. Every car in the field now has damage. Everyone's been wrecked. Everyone's been in the wall. It is an even playing field here tonight.
This one's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this in a big, big way. Green flag goes back in the air. We're underway once again. Kevin Stone going to lead the field into turn one. Frank's going to dive down to the inside of the racetrack. Mike Mcconville all over the back end of Stone. Mcconville's going to move up to second. Now Avila comes through as well. Oh, and Franks goes for a slide in three. He makes contact. Fletcher makes contact as well. We stay green, 3 wide down the front straightaway. Digby's going to be in that one as well. Oh, my goodness. And Mike Mcconville, a modified, is leading the race here at North Wilkesboro. Remember we said Tyler Seville was restarting 7th? Well, he's back up to 3rd. On the subject of the modifieds, they will not be going to Watkins Glen, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
They should.
They're going back to Lime Rock anytime soon.
No. A lot of the, I'm going to say the same olds for these guys. A lot of Riverhead, Monadnock, Jennerstown, Lee USA Speedway up in New Hampshire for the Granite State Derby.
I'm okay with a lot of Riverhead. I'm assuming Riverhead has 3 more dates.
I believe so.
Oh, that's good. It's the only racetrack in the country I can get to without paying a toll.
Big trouble for Richard Fletcher. He's gone around. Now trouble again for Jason Franks. That car sideways down the back straightaway, and the caution flag is out once again. Let's show you what happened here to Fletcher. Car just looped sideways. Big hit on the inside wall. That was a very similar hit we've seen other cars take and not lose the front end. But Fletcher will have to come in. Now let's show you the incident with Jason Franks that brought out the caution flag. Franks missing the back end of that car. Oh, big contact. Huge hit for A.J. Digby. My goodness.
I assume if they ever want racing back here in the rear world, they're going to have to patch that wall up.
Yeah, that's an understatement. Let's take a look here. We are going to go on board with A.J. Digby. And that motor is junk. So Digby and Franks are both going to be on pit lane, and this will be extended service for both of those cars. And now Mike Mcconville is your race leader. He elected...
Your top 2 cars are going to be modifieds now, no?
Top 2 are both modifieds. Mike Mcconville and Richard Fletcher. Both of those cars not coming down pit lane. Johnny Avila, Tim Knott, Kevin Stone, Tyler Seville, all coming down pit lane. In fact, Kevin Stone coming back down now. Seville's pit stop 28.02 seconds, so there was some damage repair there, but quite frankly, some damage repair for everybody. Johnny Avila's pit stop time 23.73 seconds, 21.43 for Tim Knott. Up to this point in the season, the drivers of the Sim Racers Club have, quite frankly, they had been absolutely spectacular in terms of cautions. In fact, we, I believe, had a caution-free race last week at Pocono. May have had one. That Pocono race was over in a flash. Unfortunately, all the caution flags that you might not have had earlier in the season, they've had tonight. However, can I be the first to say this has made things very, very interesting?
This is made for a very, very fun show. We started with a NASCAR Cup race, and we're going to end it out here with a modified race.
3 of the top 4 are missing bodywork. Mike Mcconville on the inside. He will be the race leader at the start. Richard Fletcher to his outside. Johnny Avila, Tim Knott on row 2. Tyler Seville, Kevin Stone on row 3. A.J. Digby, Jason Franks, John Eckhart, Troy Haight, all going to be out of the race. So we're down to what looks like a 6-car show with 32 to go here at North Wilkesboro. Big send by Johnny Avila into turn number 1. He's going to try to get the positioning on Mcconville into 3 and 4 again. He slides it up. He's up into the outside wall. Put the foot in it, drive it off the corner. How about it? What a drive by Johnny Avila. But I'll tell you what, Patrick, that's a surefire way to cook up that right front.
Oh yeah, he's got to go back to his original plan of taking it gentle and easy going into these corners. Save that car to the end of the race. And he's not listening to me at all. He's still trying to go for the lead, and he might do it this time by.
I think he's going to get him off the corner. Tyler Seville going to be right there as well. He is hunting down this battle for the lead. Mcconville, knowing that he doesn't have the front grip, he's really going to be able to save these tires, and I believe he should have one more set available than both Avila and Tyler Seville at this point. The numbers on tonight's race are going to be fantastic to run after the fact. Johnny Avila, your race leader, has made 6 pit stops, the most recent of which coming at lap 163. Mike Mcconville, stopping at lap 153, has made 5 stops, 4 for Tyler Seville, who's now running on the outside of Mcconville. And remember, it was only about, 20 laps ago that Avila and Seville were junking themselves down the front straightaway.
Yeah, and they might be getting ready to do it again here.
So down to 25 laps to go. Let's run you through the field here quickly. Johnny Avila is your race leader. The Toronto, Ontario, Canada native in the Ford Mustang. Started second, now runs in the first position. Just back behind him is Tyler Seville in the number 11, the Clearwater, Florida driver, piloting another Ford Mustang. And we can tell that because the front bumpers are still there. They say Ford. Third place running, Mike Mcconville was your pole sitter. Mcconville's car is listed as a Chevrolet. The back end looks like a Camaro. The front end looks like one of those Wheel and Tour modifieds. Currently leading that division. Fourth place overall belongs to Tim Knott, another modified. Gunskins Penske Shock Century 21 Mike Bowman on that Toyota Camry. Not sure there is a Toyota motor approved in the Wheel and Modified Tour. But there's one running out here tonight in the Sim Racers Cup. Richard Fletcher, Custom Paints and Diecast number 43. Another Ford Mustang modified. And the final car on the lead lap and in the race is Kevin Stone in the number 17. He does have the front end left on his Ford Mustang, but right now it's about 50-50 who's got what left in terms of bodywork on the front of the car. Both of these two at the front too. Johnny Avila, Tyler Seville, no surprise that these guys are 1-2 in the race. They've been 1-2 in the season and pretty consistent on the numbers. 7 races this season. Johnny Avila has 4 poles. Tyler Seville has 2. Will Worsler picking up the other pole position earlier this season, one of the NASCAR B-Class car races. Avila's been pretty darn spectacular. 4 wins, 5 top 5, 7 top 10 finishes, 29 bonus points. Has him a 24-point lead over Seville. Seville has 1 win on the season, 4 top 5, 6 top 10s, and only 17 bonus points. So you take that 12 and a couple of, 1 top 5, and all of a sudden you're talking about a very, very tight points battle. About as tight as this race for the win is going to be. AJ Digby's car still sitting on pit road, but looks like it will be the end of the night for Digby. And it'll be 15 laps to go this next time by the start-finish line. Could an extra set of tires be beneficial if we get a caution flag late in this one?
Yeah, with only 6 cars on the track, and you see how quickly Johnny Avila and Tyler Seville have repeatedly come back up to the field. I think if one of them takes the tires, the other one is going to be forced to take the tires.
Well, that's if they have them left. That's the big question. We've already heard that, I believe it was Tim Knott, he's out of tires.
Actually, I believe Kevin
Stone. Sorry, yeah, Kevin Stone. He's out. So at this point, if you didn't save any, better hope this race goes green to the end. Fastest lap of the race will belong to Johnny Avila, 18.783 seconds. Lap times in the mid-19 second bracket right now. When the cars were pretty, they were quick. Now they're almost as quick and not nearly as pretty. Johnny Avila's now opened up a 7/10 of a second lead over Tyler Seville. With 10 laps to go, a couple of open palms at the start-finish line. Something tells me these drivers are going to be looking forward to the off week that's coming next week. iRacing is pretty good for trying to do a lot of bug fixing and patching with the big season build updates, which is the reason why there will not be a race next week, is basically give the drivers and series admins a chance to test everything out and make sure the last 2 races of the season will run as cleanly as possible. It's really been an issue here, Patrick, with, quite frankly, just junk setups that are on these new NASCAR Next Gen cars.
Yeah, I have a feeling they need to just dial in, find what works for these cars, and maybe get a team of guys building the setups for these things. I know usually for a lot of the official series, it's just one guy that builds setups for the fixed setup, and usually they do a pretty good job, but they seem to have missed the mark a couple times here on the next-gen car.
Well, it seems like, I think some of that may be that NASCAR was fine-tuning these things up until a week or so before Daytona. Now that they have everything locked in, I mean, one of the things we talked about, the ride heights in the real world are very different from what we're seeing here on the iRacing sim. You spin a real world car, you'll beach it. And we don't quite see that with these cars.
Well, you also can't get a flat tire yet in iRacing.
That's true. Very slow turn 1 and 2 there for Johnny Avila. The gap went from 1.1 seconds to 0.8 that time. 4 to go this time by for Avila. The gap holding pretty consistent at about 8.5 tenths. It's Kevin Stone getting it up towards the outside concrete wall. Little tail happy for Avila at the exit of turn 2. The gap now first to second over 1 second. As Tyler Seville going to come around to the inside of Kevin Stone, but it'll be 2 to go for your race leader, Johnny Avila. He's got to get through 2 more corners. He will see the white flag, and that will be it. Off of turn number 4, white flag is in the air, 1 lap to go here at North Wilkesboro. Avila holding on to that 1 second lead over Tyler Seville. Up the back straightaway for the final time, dives it into 3. Checkered flag will go in the air, and tonight it will belong to Johnny Avila. Avila getting win number 5 on the season here in a dominating championship, likely championship winning performance. Tyler Seville and Mike Mcconville will round out your podium. Tim Knott and Richard Fletcher complete the top 5. Are we doing the donuts excited for the win or excited because it's over? Maybe a little bit of both.
I was going to say, probably a little bit of both. Making a little contact with the car, Seville.
About the only part of the car that wasn't junked was the front end, so he takes care of that. As we show you our race results for tonight, Johnny Avila getting the win by 9/10 of a second over Tyler Seville. Mike Mcconville, Tim Knott, Richard Fletcher round out the top 5. Kevin Stone, the first car, 1 lap down in 6th. 7th is Jason Franks. 8th to A.J. Digby. 9th, John Eckhart. And 10th, Troy Haight. I tell you what, Patrick, all in all, that was not a terrible race. 10 cars, a lot of beating and banging, but, man, that looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, everyone looked like they had a blast. I don't think there's a car on there without some sort of metalwork or composite bodywork that's all bent up or torn off, and it's really just fantastic. Anytime someone gained an advantage, that advantage was immediately taken away, and it was just true boys have at it, hard fighting, hard racing.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch here. And let's get our Victory Lane interviews set up here, and we will start them off with our race winner tonight. Mr. Johnny Avila picking up win number 5 on the season. And I'll tell you what, man, we kind of cracked a joke up here about not one of these cars was straight at the end of this thing, but yours was probably the cleanest looking of the lot coming to that last run.
Really, it did not feel like it. I felt like a pinball every time I tried passing somebody. It was an interesting event, that's for sure.
Yeah, you guys had, I mean, at one point, you and Tyler were wrecking down the front straightaway with, 40 or so to go. How many times tonight did you think your race was over?
I'd say at least 4. There was that one part on the last run where I was trying to pass Mike, so I just sent it on the outside, and the car just got sideways. I was just hoping I didn't just spin out in front of the field. Somehow I just tapped the wall a little bit and was able to keep going. So
I
saw
little scrape on the wall there. It looked like the cars were very twitchy on corner exit. Was that something that you were noticing behind the wheel over the course of the race?
Not really. They would get a little twitchy if you were just too aggressive on the throttle. Like a couple times I would just slam the throttle like I had a 1,000-pound foot. It would twitch a little bit, but these cars with the higher horsepower, it's bound to happen.
Well, you entered the night with a 24-point lead. That will be extended, if only slightly, with 2 races to go. Based on what the field sizes are, you got to be pretty confident that you're looking towards a Sim Racers Club championship here.
Yeah, I would assume that I might have it clinched, if not this race, next race. So it's pretty awesome.
Looking forward to the week off, I would imagine, after the show that you guys got here tonight.
Oh, definitely. Gonna be nice, quiet Wednesday.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the win, picking up number 5 for the season. Let's make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you out of here.
Well, I'm going to thank my sponsor, Bulldog Roofworks. They've been supporting me throughout the whole season, so that's great to have. I got to thank you guys up in the booth, always presenting a great show each week to watch back that I can show friends, my family. And I got to thank all the admins, Jordan and Sam. They're doing everything they can, and they're keeping this league pretty good together. So it's good to have admins like that.
I would agree. The admins here are very, very engaged, and that's a good thing. But all right, Johnny, thank you very much. Let's bring in our runner-up tonight, Tyler Seville. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Johnny here just a minute ago. How many times tonight did you think your race was over?
A few times, especially that one where Johnny and I both crashed. But these next-gen cars are interesting because sometimes it's the smallest hit that can impact you, but it seemed like tonight there were a few cars that took quite a beating and were able to keep going.
Yeah, your car is beat up on the right front, down the entirety of the left-hand side. What's the thought process as the race goes on here, knowing you have a short field, so try to take the repair and get the car back out on the racetrack, but obviously it's not going to handle anywhere close to what it did in the first couple of laps when all the sheet metal or carbon was still straight.
Right. The ace that I kind of had in my pocket was I had an extra set of tires that I had saved since I stayed out on that first long run. So I was kind of praying that we would get a caution so that would help me there at the end, but it just never came.
Yeah, that was the question that I was going to have on the strategy call. You were the last one down pit lane by a wide margin. Was that entire thought process keep that extra set of tires available in the box?
Yeah, I knew that I won a race here a couple of years ago by taking 2 tires at the end on a green-white checker, so I knew that tires were a factor here. So if I was able to save a set, I was going to do everything I could, because even if it was something with like 3 laps, even with this short field, fresh tires I think would have been a difference maker.
Well, it was a very good run for you tonight, and looks like you've locked up second place in the points with Kevin having his, I don't want to say issue, I mean he finished 6th, but with how short the fields have been, even 11, 15 points, that's going to be a lot to make up here with 2 to go.
Right, never say never, but it's looking like Johnny's got this thing locked up. He's been the class of the field, I think, most of the season, so excited for second place, but you never know what'll happen. Situations could change, and maybe I could be back in it. We'll see.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations picking up top 5, number 5, top 10, number 7 on the season. Been a good year for you thus far. Let's make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in before we let you out of here.
Yep, got to thank Arch Telecom and my teammates, and then thanks to Sam for putting this on and you guys for the broadcast.
All right, bud. Thank you very much. We appreciate the shout-out there. And last one, 3rd place overall, 1st place in the Whelen Modified Tour Division here tonight, Mr. Mike Mcconville. I got to look at the entry list to see what kind of car you're driving. It says it's a Chevrolet Camaro. You were beat up out there, brother.
After that first accident where I completely just lead-footed it, spun out, and hit Johnny, I tried to go back a ways to 2006 Martinsville when Dale Jr. lost his right front and still finished top 5. So that was the mentality.
It was funny. You told us the car was plowing like a dump truck and everything else. Were you still feeling that late in the race, or were you able to just kind of find a rhythm that maybe the plowing didn't go away, but it was just easier to manage?
I mean, I got used to it. I changed up my marks, and it made the car feel a bit better. I took a wider arc into 1 and 3, and that helped the car get through the center. And it's all managing the throttle after that. But I'm okay with P3 after the crazy night I had. I'll take it and show them up in 2 weeks.
I was going to say 2 starts on the series this season and 2 podium finishes. I guess you can't be all that upset with how things are going here.
Nah, I can't complain about 2 podiums, man. Next season, they're gonna know I'm here for business.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on picking up the podium. The Shattered Dream Chevy Camaro looks spectacular, even if it is missing hunks of bodywork all over the place. Congratulations on the podium. Let's make sure we get all those sponsor shout-outs and thank yous in.
First off, appreciate it. And I want to thank you guys. Always putting on a good show. I saw my phone going off from a buddy watching. He said this was one hell of a race, and you guys did a fantastic job calling it. I want to thank all the teammates at Shattered Dreams helping me. Got to help me a little bit more, try to figure out the tire wear a little bit with this car on the short tracks. Thank all the admins. They always do a great job the 2 weeks I've been here. And that's really it, man.
All right,
2
bud.
podiums, 2 weeks. Let's hope I can keep that streak going.
Absolutely. Enjoy the week off, as quite frankly, I think everybody will be here. This was an interesting race, to say the least, Patrick. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see one more late race caution that would have really brought the strategy game of who had tires left into it. But in reality, we got to see a really fun race here tonight. A lot of side-by-side action, as many wrecks as you could possibly want, and quite frankly, just a lot of fun.
Yeah, like you mentioned about the wrecks, there were a bunch of wrecks during this race, but it wasn't a wreck fest. It wasn't a slug fest. And it put on for a really good show. Each caution is well timed to spice the race back up and kind of kept the show rolling. It was pretty fantastic.
Yeah, we enjoyed it, and we've got a lot more coming up here tomorrow night. It will be, well, actually, during the daytime, Episode 2 of 2022 season for Pizza at the Pagoda will drop on all of your favorite podcasting apps. Spent the evening before we came on the air here recording the show with the guys from the Pizza at the Pagoda podcast. Look for that one on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Tomorrow, covering the NTT IndyCar Series, a little bit of the Road to Indy, and, well, quite frankly, our usual train wreck detours as well. This one's not a 2-hour episode, though. We kept it under an hour, we think. Also, tomorrow night, the Indy Pro 2000 Championship wraps up 2022 Season 1 with a visit to Road America. And a points battle is on the line there for that one. You will not want to miss that show. Then we go very quiet for a week. By the way, also, we're going to have the High Side Hustle with Burt Wojcik and Adam Rubright. I believe we're going to have Logan Watt and I forget who else. Anthony Macri, the winner of the Lincoln Speedway Icebreaker, beating some of the World of Outlaws guys, tuning their season up. That will air right before the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. Then next week we go a little bit quiet. It's week 13 on the iRacing platform. We'll be have shows on, I guess Thursday night's the only one we'll have for the High Side Hustle. But then we come back in 2 weeks, rip-roaring into 2022 Season 2. With that, it is time to get the heck out of here. For Patrick Byrne, camera design by Connor Baldwin, and everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.